Level 1. 0. You are standing at the edge of a bar you can barely afford to be in. 1 drink. You nursed it for an hour so you wouldn't have to buy another. Across the room there is a woman laughing at something. The light catches her the way light always seems to catch the people you can't reach. You look. She feels it the way people feel a look. Her eyes pass over you and keep going. Not unkindly. That's the part nobody warns you about. There is no cruelty in it. You were just scenery. A wall with a face. You look down at your drink and feel something that isn't rejection, because rejection would require being seen first. You weren't rejected. You were never entered into the equation. You go home on a bus that smells like rain and other people. You lie on a mattress on the floor, and you do the math you always do at this level. Rent. Phone. The interview Thursday. The number in your account is 2 figures. You are 23. You are not a bad man. You are not ugly. You are just invisible, and at this level invisibility feels like a personality flaw instead of what it actually is, which is a price tag nobody printed. You tell yourself it's confidence. You tell yourself it's the haircut, the job, the words you didn't say fast enough. You will spend years fixing the wrong thing. You will read the books, do the gym, practice the eye contact, and some of it will help and none of it will be the lever, because the lever is not in the room with you, it is in an account you don't have yet. You are the same man you will be at every number. You just don't have the number yet. Level 2. 25,000. You have a job now. A car that starts most mornings. You met a woman through a friend and she agreed to dinner. You picked a place you researched for an hour to make sure it wasn't too expensive and wasn't embarrassing. She is polite. She is warm in the way people are warm when they have already decided. Halfway through she asks what you do and you tell her, and you watch something settle behind her eyes. Not disgust. Worse. A filing. You get moved into a folder. The conversation continues smooth, professional, the way a teller helps you at a counter while already looking at the next person in line. She laughs at the right moments. She texts you the next day, thanks, that was fun, and then the replies get slower, then they stop, and you never get a single moment you can point to and say that was where it broke. Nothing broke. You were processed. There was one, though. Around this time. A woman who worked the morning shift at the coffee place near your apartment. She didn't know your number and wouldn't have cared. She remembered your order and once, when you were short 40 cents, she covered it and waved you off like it was nothing. You thought about her for a long time after. Not because anything happened. Because for 90 seconds you were a person to someone, and you couldn't tell if that was love or just kindness, and you were poor enough that you weren't sure there was a difference. There is. You'll learn it slowly going up. At 25,000 a woman doesn't refuse you. She just moves you through like luggage on a belt, and you collect yourself at the other end and tell yourself it wasn't a fit. You don't know it yet, but it was never about fit. The number was talking. You just couldn't hear it. Level 3. 100,000. Something shifts. Not in you. In the room. You walk in better clothes now, not loud, just correct, and women's eyes hold on you half a second longer than they used to. Recognition without warmth. You are no longer scenery. You are a candidate. At a party someone introduces you with your title attached, and you watch the title do work your face never could. A woman asks for your number and you realize, with a strange cold clarity, that the version of you standing here is the same one who stood at the edge of that bar 2 years ago. Same jokes. Same hands. Same fears. The only thing that changed is what's printed next to your name. You start to relax in a way you couldn't before, and the relaxation makes you better company, and the better company brings more attention, and you cannot tell anymore where the number ends than you begin. That is the quiet trap of this level. You date more now. Second dates happen. Third ones. You start to believe maybe it was you all along, maybe you grew, maybe you finally became someone. And maybe you did. But you notice you only became someone at exactly the moment your account did. The growth and the number arrive together, holding hands, and you cannot prove which one the world responded to. You suspect you know. You are the same man at every number. You are just finally inside the equation, standing in a line you didn't know existed, because for years you were standing in it. Level 4. 500,000. Now the number speaks before you do. You don't mention it. You never mention it. But it leaks out of small things. The watch you didn't explain. The trip you mentioned without flinching at the cost. The way you don't look at the right side of a menu. A woman across a dinner table tilts her head and asks a question that isn't really a question, and you understand she is doing math you can't see, the same math you've been doing your whole life from the other side. The pursuit reverses. For the first time, you are not the one reaching. Someone reaches for you. It feels like winning. It feels, for about a week, like everything you were owed finally arriving. Then you catch it. The way she lights up when you order the bottle without checking the price. The flicker. You've seen that flicker before. You wore it once, at the edge of a bar, looking at a life you couldn't afford. And the cruelty of it is that you can no longer tell warmth from calculation, because at this level they look identical and arrive at the same time. You stop trusting the good moments. That's the tax. You don't say anything. You pour the wine. But you file it, the way you were once filed. You don't know it yet, but you've just crossed to the other side of the glass, and the view from here is colder than you imagined. Level 5. 2 million. You are pursued now. Openly. The way someone treats a thing they don't want to lose. You get introduced to friends fast. You get invited deep into lives early. A woman remembers a detail you mentioned once, months ago, your sister in another city, the coffee you like, and the detail is not an accident, it is attention, and attention is the most expensive thing anyone can spend on you, and you finally have whatever it costs. You meet her parents, and they shake your hand a half-second too long. The same handshake the bank gives a man whose balance just crossed the threshold. You are no longer being decided on. You are being courted. The waiters learn your name. The hostess remembers your table. The whole apparatus of the world that ignored you for a quarter century has quietly switched its posture, and not one person will ever admit that anything switched at all. And here is the thing nobody tells you about being wanted after years of being invisible. It does not heal the invisible years. It sits beside them. You lie next to someone who chose you and you feel, faintly, the bus that smelled like rain, and you understand that the man on that bus and the man in this bed are the same man, and only one number stands between them. You think about the woman at the coffee counter who covered your 40 cents. She wanted nothing. Everyone here wants something, and they are kind about it, and the kindness is real, and it is also a strategy, and both things are true at once, and that is what no one prepares you for. You start testing people. Small tests, never announced. You mention a loss that didn't happen, a deal gone bad, and you watch the face across from you to see if the warmth survives the bad news. Sometimes it does. Those are the ones you keep. But the testing itself is the wound. The man at the bar never had to test anyone, because no one was performing for him, and you would give a great deal to be that unguarded again, even at the price of being invisible. You are not loved more at 2 million. You are pursued more. You have started quietly to learn the difference. Level 6. 10 million. You stop being chased and start being protected. The relationships get strategic without anyone using the word. There are prenups now, conversations with lawyers, a carefulness around you that pretends to be tenderness, and sometimes even is. A woman doesn't just want you. She wants the structure you represent, the life that has weight, the future that won't wobble. And you can't fully blame her, because you have learned by now that wanting security is not a crime, it is just arithmetic wearing a dress, the same arithmetic you ran on a mattress on the floor at 23. You wanted safety then too. You just didn't have anything to offer in trade. You are defended now. When someone speaks badly of you, you have someone in your corner. It feels like love and it is shaped exactly like love, and most days you decide that's enough, that the shape is the thing, that maybe the shape was always all anyone gets. But at 3 in the morning, sometimes you do the older math. You subtract the number and ask who is still standing in the room. You never run that calculation out loud. You are afraid of the answer the way you used to be afraid of your balance. You are the same man at every number. You just have more to lose now, and more people invested in you not noticing why. Level 7. 50 million. You don't enter rooms anymore. The room arranges itself around you. You are consulted now, not pursued. Women at this altitude are not auditioning for you, they are evaluating an alliance, and the conversations are about foundations and estates, and the shape of a life built to outlast both of you. The flirtation is quieter and more lethal. It is the flirtation of equals, or of people performing equality very well. You sit at a long table and a woman asks your opinion the way the head of a private bank once asked the man at the top his opinion on markets, and you realize you have become the thing the system organizes itself around. The looks that once slid off you now hold, and wait, and want to be held in return. You got everything the man at the bar was starving for. You can have a room of it any night you choose. And somewhere underneath the suit is still that man. The wall with a face. The one whose look slid off the world and found no purchase. He never left. You built 7 floors on top of him. He is in the basement, and on certain nights you can still hear him asking why nobody looked. You have everything he wanted, and you cannot send a single piece of it down the stairs to him. The money bought the building. It never reached the basement. You are the same man. The basement never gets renovated. Level 8. 100 million. You are not a man women treat a certain way anymore. You are a position. A coordinate. People orient around you the way they orient around weather. There is no pursuing, no processing, no flicker to catch, because at this number everything is already negotiated before you walk in. Relationships are arrangements written in sentences built for one person. You are partnered with, allied with, consulted, protected, defended, all at once, by people whose careers and futures bend around your continued attention. And it is total, and it is hollow, and you finally understand the joke the universe has been telling you since the bus that smelled like rain. The thing you wanted at 23 was to be seen. What you bought at 100 million is to be seen completely, by everyone, all the time, for the number. You got the wish. You just read the fine print too late. The 40 cents at the coffee counter is the only transaction in your whole life you are still sure was clean, and it is 20 years and $100 million behind you, and you would trade a frightening amount to be that broke and that certain again. You are the same man at every level. The world only ever changed how it treated the figure standing next to your name. And somewhere right now, at the edge of a bar he can barely afford to be in, a man is nursing one drink so he won't have to buy another. A woman laughs across the room and the light catches her the way it always catches the people he can't reach. Her eyes pass over him and keep going. Not unkindly. He goes home on a bus that smells like rain. He lies on a mattress on the floor and does the math. He thinks the problem is the number. He thinks if he just changes the number, he will finally be seen. He doesn't know yet that the number changes everything except that. He is the same man he will be at every level. He just doesn't have the number yet. And the system that will one day arrange whole rooms around him is, tonight, looking straight through him. It was never personal. It was never about him at all. That is the part that takes a lifetime, and $100 million to understand. And by the time he understands it, he will be too far up the building to climb back down and tell himself at the bar.